How would you describe this rivalry with USC Notre Dame, and why is it on the cusp of ending?
Oh, I hate USC. I mean, I hate USC.
But you were taught that growing up?
Well, I mean, listen, I have a different perspective from Notre Dame. My brother Bob came here as a freshman in '75. I was 12 years old. So I grew up basically coming to Notre Dame games. And then my brother Greg came here, and I was more with my peers before I got recruited to come here. I mean, USC recruited me, but there was never a thought. And when both my kids, my son Mike was a junior, he was down with Urban Meyer getting recruited to Florida, and Jake was a sophomore and was down there with him as a recruit. And I told the boys there, I said, listen, don't go to Notre Dame because me and your mother and your uncles went there, and I rattled off everybody that went there. I said, you go where your heart takes you. I said, except USC. I said, you can't go to USC. That's a non-starter.
Why are we on the verge of ending this rivalry?
Well, I mean, listen, Notre Dame, it's going to sit there and people are going to listen and say, oh, well, he's blaming USC. But it is on USC. Notre Dame hasn't changed their independence. We haven't changed anything. We still play the same schedule, no FCS schools, all FBS schools. Now it's ACC schools, been Big Ten schools, but the Michigan rivalry is somewhat over. USC, and I get it to a point where they're doing it. They're going to have to play 9 conference games, and they have to be careful of their non-conference schedule to make the playoffs. So there's part of me that understands their reasoning, but then the Notre Dame part of me comes in and says, just schedule us.
Well, if you had a scheduling czar, or if we get to that point, then you're going to have Notre Dame and Michigan, and then you would have Notre Dame and USC. It would be mandatory. I mean, we're in the entertainment business. That's why we've expanded the playoffs. That's why we're going to expand March Madness. I would hope that there is somebody, and maybe this is 10 years down the road when we have the top 40 schools in America.
Right, yeah.
And then you can have, this is your schedule this year. Maybe you don't play USC this year, but you're playing them next year. Maybe you play Michigan. That's what I think we need. I worry about when you have these schools and you take, before a big game, you always have that cupcake. Now, I know the cupcake is a payout game.
Right.
But it's still, haven't we gotten to the point where let's just play a really good schedule?
I mean, teams are and schools are thinking about the playoffs. But the thing about it is, like, Notre Dame has 2 losses. 2 losses to the number 2 and number 5 team in the country. If Notre Dame runs the table, they're in. They're 10-2. They're going to be in the playoffs.
If they lose tomorrow.
If they lose, they're going to be done.
Okay.
If they get a 3rd loss, they're going to be done because they can't win a conference.
Okay.
So they're going to be done. And they put themselves in this tough spot, kind of like last year a bit. But the 2 team, when the committee looks at the 2 losses, as long as those 2 teams keep winning, they're going to be like, well, those are quote-unquote great losses. But to play USC anymore, it would probably be early in the season. Conference games being later in the season, so it would have to be done early in the season if it's going to continue. I mean, it's the 96th meeting. The only one that's been longer is Notre Dame Navy, and that's 97.